What's up, guys? It's the Minty Caliber here. If I sound a little bit weird, that's because I'm kind of under the weather today. But my fiance wants to talk about her ex-fiance and go into full detail about this little fucker because he's
Yeah,
a piece of
yeah.
shit.
So, hi, I'm Tara Starr. If you haven't met me already, which, I mean, you probably have, given how many of these videos we've made. Um, but I want to talk to you about someone on here on YouTube. His name is DeathsMarksMan. He makes, like, really shitty Overwatch videos, and he's not very good. That's irrelevant. He's probably not making any Overwatch videos right now because his best friend ditched him again. Um, So, if you watch the last video of how we met, near the end you got like a little bit of insight to my ex. Well, actually you got a lot of insight into my ex. But I don't want to talk about necessarily everything he's done with me. I want to talk about him as a whole person and just the shitty person him and his family has become. So, his name is Lucas Chester Carter Blackburn. He lives in Hamilton, Ontario,
Screw it, I
in
can't take it
Canada.
anymore. I gotta give me some water. I'll be right back. You continue.
Okay. Um, he lives in Hamilton, Ontario, in Canada. Um, are just touching on the really illegal shit he's done. He raped me several times, and whew, every time I say that, the words don't come out properly. He's at several times in a relationship where it was just like a forced thing. He didn't just do it to me though. I told his best friend under malicious intent. I told his best friend, who we're just gonna call Hazard, because I don't want to say his first name, but everyone calls him Hazard. I told his best friend. I sent him a screenshot of Lucas admitting it because he did admit it. He at least admitted to the one count, which I described in another video. And I sent him a screenshot, and he told me, and I'll pull it up on my phone. I sent him, Lucas admitted to raping me. Please keep an eye on him. I don't want it happening to anyone else. I'm sorry. I don't know. I thought you should have known. And he's like, yeah, I don't like hearing this, but it means I need to talk to you about quite a few things, mainly about my girlfriend and why she hates him so much. And I said, why does she hate him so much? He pushed her into sex, guilt tripped her into doing it, and such. I wanted to think he grew up a bit over the last few years, but, well, this kind of throws that out the window. That's rape, too. It's, if you're in a relationship with someone and he forced into having sex with you, it's considered marital rape. Like, what the fuck? And no, this was only a few months ago. He did that to me, too. It's called marital rape. Yeah, the only reason I pushed off judgment for so long was that it was years after she mentioned it to me, and they had a huge falling out not long before. This is the second time it's brought to my attention, so honestly, I think I'm done. I said I thought I was the only one, to be honest. You don't want to know the shit he did my last day in town. I thought you should know. I didn't know he did that to her, too. It's like, fuck man, I defended him for years. Tried to tell him that he grew up, changed, put a lot of strain on my relationship. Two, I've got half the money to go kick some teeth in. I'm like, you're not the only one that wants that done. He did it to another girl named Sam, like, fucking needs a beating. I truly believe that. I'm like, I get the strain thing. I was working on a guy last time it happened, and I'm still with him. It's just really fucked with the relationship. I was obviously with Austin the last time it happened. He said I'm gonna try and go get some sleep before I get thrown in jail. And, I don't know if you talked to him about it or not, but, I didn't, like, just knowing that, like, I knew that Hazard's girlfriend hated him, but I didn't know why. No one told me why. She didn't tell me why. I asked a couple times. She just said he was an asshole. Which he is. She said he was a child and that he was an asshole, and I was like, okay. Like, cause I asked quite a few times when I was still with Lucas. So now, I want to get past the actual, like, illegal thing he did. Because that's, like, the pointer, the header, the big, bold lettering. But, I want to talk about how he is as a person. Jesus fucking Christ, it's a big thing. As a kitty on it! Sorry.
Oh, what, this?
Yeah. I want to talk about him and his family as a person. So, when I first met him, he was this meek little fucking emo, but not emo kid.
Want to be emo.
Kind of want to be emo. Like, he was mostly just, like, really sad because his, like, girlfriend had just left him for this other guy, blah, 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 whatever. So, there was this, like, just caring aspect about it, like, that's how our relationship, like, started, is I was his friend, and I, like, cared about him, and now I was upset that, like, she hurt him, and she had hurt me, too, so it was just, like, a mutual thing. And I do want to talk about his family, because his family is fucking nuts. So his sister, he's talking to me the one night, his sister punches her mirror, and, like, shatters it, and there's blood everywhere, and I message her, because he's like, I think my sister just broke her mirror, because he just heard the shatter, and I got off the phone with him, and I messaged her, and I'm like, are you okay? And she's like, no, there's blood everywhere, and I'm like, you need to go tell your parents, and it turned into this, like, conversation, and she's like, I'm not going to go tell him, like, how much are you bleeding? And she's like, I'm still bleeding. I was like, you need to go tell your parents before I do. Pretty much type of situation. She told her parents, there's blood fucking everywhere. Like, she almost died. And then she messages me a few days later, and she's like, thank you for forcing me to, like, we had a good relationship at one point in time. Even, like, near the end of it, she got into this huge fight with her dad at a Christmas party, and I went outside and talked to her, and we had this nice conversation. Like, supposedly, she looked at me like a friend before our relationship, during our relationship, not after, though. And keep in mind, him and his sister hate each other. And I'm not just saying, oh, they're siblings, so they don't like each other. They regular basis, express how much they hate each other, and they want nothing to do with each other. But all of a sudden, I break up with him, and I'm, like, the worst person in the world, but I'll get there. So, we break up. Everything's normal. Like, his family was always, like, accepting of me. They made, like, little sly comments here and there that they didn't think that I was politically correct. They didn't feel that I was, basically, before a family event, they told me to keep my opinions to myself. And I was like, whatever, I don't talk anyway during those. Like, I only talk around you because I'm supposed to feel comfortable, type of deal. And I never really did. I never actually felt comfortable around his family. I kept a lot of my opinions to myself because they weren't very open-minded. They kept a raccoon as a pet, and despite me knowing a lot about animals, despite me keeping exotic animals, despite, like, all this, I research animals for fun. Like, it's honestly a very fun time for me to, like, look up what animals do and how they act, and if you find them, what you're supposed to do, and...
That's pretty cool, though. Look.
They had this raccoon. That is pretty cool. They had this raccoon, and I tried telling them things like, oh, you're supposed to be feeding it this, and you're gonna, like, it was a baby, and, like, you're gonna need to start scaring it to make it afraid of you. Like, it shouldn't be afraid of you, or it shouldn't like you. Like, to make sure it can learn to look for food, you're gonna need to put it in the yard, and you're gonna need to, like, bury stuff so it can know to find food. Like, don't just feed it in a bowl. It's not a dog. You can't keep this thing as a pet. Shut me down, shut me down, shut me down, shut me down. Then, this thing starts getting rambunctious and starts destroying things, starts attacking other animals. Then they start looking stuff up. Then they start doing these things. And I'm like, I told you to do these things a month ago. Now you have this thing that will cuddle up to you but will attack your fucking dogs. Like, and I'm just going to admit this right here. I don't ever believe that they were actually going to not keep it as a pet because their daughter, like, was absolutely in love with this thing. Like, everyone got attached. So when an animal service officer came through my work, I told him about it, and he went and seized it and brought it to a proper place to be rehabilitated and released. And like, they were so pissed. They pretended that they were happy about it, that, oh, this animal gets to be, like, rehabilitated and it's going to be released back into the wild, but, like, you could tell they were pissed off. Because an animal control officer came to their house and they're like, who the fuck told? And I was like, I don't know, it's probably one of your damn neighbors. They let this thing outside, and it, like, climbed the fence. Like, they weren't being intelligent about it, as well as the fact that they were putting all their other pets at risk. They had a lot of pets. So, I'm not upset about what I did. I felt I did the right thing there by talking to the service officer.
In most countries and in most states here in the United States, it's illegal to have a pet raccoon.
It's illegal here, too.
Yeah, so, I mean, you pretty much saved them a jail sentence.
I also saved it from being euthanized when it's older and all of a sudden can't be rehabilitated. Like, they weren't doing it any favors by keeping it as a pet.
Animals like that should not be kept as pets. Hedgehogs, boas, ball pythons, that's pets.
Yeah, for exotic pets. But they just, every time I said something like that, every time I attempted to show that I was educated, they threw it out the window. They basically just didn't take that maybe what I was saying was true. I tried talking to his sister about properly stretching her ears because she was stretching them with silicone. She experienced a nice blowout. No one listened to me. And then I stopped talking. And this is why I lived with them. And then I stopped talking. And I was like, how are you talking?
Well, I want to say something while listening to you. If I would have known you back then, and you would have told me, hey, no, don't stretch with acrylic, I wouldn't have done it. I would have went out and bought me a proper set. But, I mean, I've learned from my mistakes. Now, this isn't about me. I just thought I'd interject that. Don't stretch with silicone or acrylic. Use non-porous materials.
This is Sally. It's her birthday today. She turns 3.
Happy birthday, Sally.
She was right next to me. I had to.
Yeah, I mean, she's a part of our family.
So, his sister experienced a blowout. I'm like, whatever. Just stuff like that. Like, I would tell them something, or his dad was trying to figure out what was wrong with one of the ferrets, and I was like, you need to cut its nails if it's getting caught, like it's ripping at its nails or something. Or like the fish was sick, and I was like, oh, it's this, you need to do this. Instead, they went and spent like thousands of dollars taking these exotic animals to the vet to come back with the exact same. And I'm not saying I'm a vet.
You were a vet, too.
I'm not. I co-opted as a vet tech for a little bit, but I'm not saying I'm a vet. But they'd come back with the exact same diagnosis that I gave them. Like, it's not that hard to look at a fish and see that its scales are turning like this weird, sickly white color and recognize that it's ick. It's not that hard. It's not that hard to know when you walk past a ferret that its nail's bleeding because it got caught in its bed, that you need to keep its nails trimmed, or that you need to replace the bed. It's not that hard to know you don't want to fucking keep
it's all common sense, really. It's all common sense.
It's not that hard to realize you can't keep a raccoon as a pet. It's not that hard to do a little bit of research on stretching your ears before you stretch them. But that's him and his family. No one would ever listen to me. They just felt I was stupid. Like, no matter how much evidence I showed or anything like that, like, they were always right and I was always wrong. And I accepted it after a while. We moved out. Whatever. His family made promises they couldn't keep. He made promises he couldn't keep. And then, getting on to, like, the dynamics of our relationship. Again, the whole I was always wrong situation, so I started to take it. We kept getting put in situations by him, like, we had a joint bank account. Our rent was $920 a month. It would be the 31st of a month. We'd have $904 in our bank account. And he wouldn't want to cook dinner. I just got off a 12-hour long shift because he couldn't hold down steady hours, so the person pulling all the hours to make sure we had our rent was me. I just got off a 12-hour long shift. He played video games all day. I'm running around the house taking care of our animals because we got way too many, because they helped me cope with stress. Okay? over there?
You know, I'm just
Dying.
yeah, pretty much.
So it's like 9 o'clock at night. I have to open the next morning, which means I have to get up at 7, and I'm like, hey, you haven't cooked dinner yet? You haven't thought to feed yourself? Again, remember, our bank accounts, it's the 31st. Rent comes out on the 1st. We have $924 in our account. Rent is $920. He's like, I don't feel like cooking. I'm like, well, you have to. I worked all day. Like, you're an adult. Throw some fries in the oven. It's not that hard. Like, when I am the one that had to go grocery shopping constantly, like, alone, so I knew that we had food in our house. All he had to do was make it. It was all really easy to make because I have the palate of a fucking child. He was even pickier than I was, so really easy food to make. I'm like, you can't, like, put chicken strips and fries into the oven? I don't want that. Well, what do you want? I want McDonald's. We don't have the money for McDonald's. We have $924. $920 of that leaves our account at midnight for rent, so we have somewhere to live. And he's like, well, our rent can be late. And I'm like, no, it can't. Our rent cannot be late. Like, what part of this don't you grasp? Like, we're adults. We're 20 and 21. Our rent cannot be late because you don't want to cook food. Or because you don't want what I bought because you refused to go grocery shopping with me because you were too busy playing Overwatch. So it would turn into this giant fight. And if I didn't give in to him, he would sulk and mope and fucking throw a hissy fit for hours. So it's 9 o'clock at night. I didn't eat anything all day because I didn't bother to take fucking work to lunch. I just worked 12 hours. I worked from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Came home at 9. I have to work the next day at 8 a.m. It is now 11:30. I still haven't eaten dinner because I took care of all the animals and he's still fucking throwing a bitch fit. And I'm like, you know what? If you want to pay rent late, go on your phone and send an email to our landlord saying, I'm sorry, something messed up, our rent's going to be a few days late. He's like, I don't want to do that. I'm like, why? He's like, I don't want to talk to our landlord. So you want to pay rent late, but you want to make me talk to him, despite the fact that I have to go to work. Rent comes out of our account in like 3 hours because my bank does things at 3 a.m. for some fucking reason. And this wasn't the only time. This was constant. That it would be this situation like we have to pay internet, we have to pay our hydro bill, we have to pay for this. No, I don't want to cook, so I want to go buy McDonald's because it's right across the street, or I want Wendy's because we work there, or like just situations like that. Or I want this video game, so I'm gonna go buy it. I'm not gonna tell you, and I'm gonna fuck us on internet, and then I'm gonna bitch that our internet is too slow because you didn't pay it. You're literally looking at my relationship here.
And if you guys are wondering why I'm not talking, this is her explaining her experience. She has a really shitty laptop, so she can't really upload any videos or do anything of that nature.
Yeah. So, so shit like that would happen all the time. By the way, I gave in to him. He went and bought McDonald's. He didn't actually buy food for me because I said, fuck it. That was one of the days I just didn't eat anything. I was too tired. I went to bed. I was so fucking done. I'm just like, you know what? Fuck it. Go eat your stupid fucking McDonald's. I don't care. And I went to bed. And he was like, okay. And then he left. And so then I get an email from my landlord like a couple days later because he didn't notice for like a couple days that like our rent didn't work. Because it came out of our account and then it got returned because it wasn't enough money and our overdraft didn't cover it. He was like, what happened? And I was like, I don't know. There must have been some issue with the bank. I get paid tomorrow. I'll make sure that, you know, I hand you a direct deposit, like, check thingy, and then you can cash it. Or a money order, that's what they're called. I'll make sure I hand you a money order. And he's like, Okay, well, because it's late, it's going to cost you $950 because there's a $30 late fee. And I was like, okay, whatever. I'm glad your $7 McDonald's fucking cost us $30 fucking dollars. Fuck you.
You don't have a fucking dollar menu, or does he just like ordering shit off the expensive menu?
He will only eat an Angus fucking burger from McDonald's.
Actually, he kind of needs it.
So, like, the most expensive burger on his fucking, on their fucking menu or whatever the fuck. That happened several times. It's like, you know the rule is don't buy anything for yourself close to Christmas time? Well, that's just a general rule for, like, most people. Most people are just like, don't buy anything for yourself in, like, the month of December because someone else might buy it for you or whatever. Like, don't go buy yourself gifts fucking in December. He spent more money on himself in December than we did on his entire family. So, if you looked at our, like, financial situation, I was making, like, close to $800 every 2 weeks. He was making, like, $300 every 2 weeks. So, literally, my entire pay, like, half my pay went into savings, or, like, more than half of my pay went into savings for rent. The rest of my pay went to groceries, and then he just fucking fucked around with his. He's like, well, you make enough money, so, like, I'm gonna go fucking buy 3 PlayStation 4 games that I don't need. But you know what? That's just, like, relationship problems. It got worse after we broke up. So, after we broke up, he started dating this girl. We still had a joint bank account because we both had checks going into it, and we both still had bills we had to pay together. So, we still had a joint bank account. When we got our check, I looked at our bank account, and he didn't have access to his online bank account because I accidentally locked him out of it once. He just never bothered to reset it. So he didn't have access to his online bank account. And I looked at what we got paid. He got paid like $200 and something. I got paid like $600 and something. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna go get a new SIM card, get it for my phone, like working on getting myself separated from this guy. I'm gonna go get a new SIM card for my phone. I'm gonna go get a new phone number. I'm gonna go get a new freaking, like, I'm gonna make sure my phone's working so I can get a new job because I didn't have a functional job at the time, so I needed to find a new job. Because I needed to call mine to make sure I still had a fucking job. Because I just wasn't going to get any shifts. So, I'm like, okay, I need to do these things. I need to go get pet food for all of our pets. Because I was taking care of all of our pets. He had fucked off with her. And he had completely fucked off with her. And all this shit. And I was like, okay, I took care of that. I bought all of our pets food. So, I'm looking at her bank account. And, like, it's like $200. And I'm like, okay. He only had 1 shift a week, and a bus ride was $2.30. So in reality, he only had to put like $10 on his bus card. He put $45 on his bus card, most likely so he could go see his new girlfriend. We hadn't even broken up 2 weeks, by the way. Most likely so he could go see his new girlfriend. And he then spent a lot of money at the mall on, like, Build-A-Bear for her and, like, stuff like that, and, like, buying her lunch and stuff like that. I was like,
we're
okay.
getting into the Lexia topic.
Yeah. So I'm like, whatever. You can do whatever the fuck you... Good. Good, take that. I'm like, you know what, whatever, you can do whatever the fuck you want with your money. And then he comes back, and I have my phone working. All of our pets have food, just all this shit. Like, I took care of myself with my money. And I sent him a message, and I'm like, I want out of our fucking account by Wednesday. This was, like, on a Monday. I'm like, you need to come the fuck up here. We need to go to the bank. I want out of our account. And I'm like, do you have any idea how much money you've spent? And he's like, no. And I'm like, you spent over your paycheck. You've spent some of mine. And I'm like, I have a working phone now. Do you? And he's like, no, I thought we were going to go do that together. And I'm like, how the fuck are we supposed to go do that together if you're down there with that fucking crazy chick? Like, you literally spent, like, $200 at the mall buying her shit. And I personally, and he later told me he did do this on purpose. The Build-A-Bear was a slap in the face. I had never been to Build-A-Bear before. And he and I went together. I made my own bear. It's not like he made me a bear. So like the experience was with him. I paid for it. I made the most money. I paid for his and my Build-A-Bears. I paid for all that shit. I paid for our lunch that day. Like, it was a me having an experience thing. He was just kind of there. But at the time in our relationship, it was like the only date thing we did together for a really long ass time. So, hang on. So I made this bear. This is Bruce. This is Bruce Wayne. He's a Batman bear. And he made it toothless or whatever. But that was the first time I'd ever been to Build-A-Bear. First and only time. Now. I'd always wanted to go to Build-A-Bear. I like stuffed animals. He took her to Build-A-Bear. And then he bought her, I think, like 2 fucking bears. And all this shit. And I literally took it as a slap to the fucking face. I'm like, the only date we'd been on in like 2 years, you literally replicated it with your new girlfriend. Not even 2 weeks after we broke up, and he later admitted, yeah, I did that on purpose to try and hurt you. And I'm like, it didn't really fucking hurt me, it just pissed me off that you spent my money doing it. He's like, oh. So, we got our bank accounts separated and shit. And he was pissed off because I didn't go with him to get a new SIM card, which he never actually did. He never went and got a new SIM card. Because he needed my help with it. So, we're gonna fast forward a little bit. We're gonna skim over the couple of incidences, and we're gonna go right to my last week living in our shared apartment. So he wasn't living there. He was living with his parents' house, at his parents' house, which was like 4 blocks away. His cat wasn't living there. His axolotl died because he couldn't take care of it. I made him take his leopard gecko. We rehomed our turtle. We rehomed our crested geckos. He killed my mice. I firmly believe he killed my mice. And I rehomed our crested geckos. Because we had 16 pets together, and he could only take 2. So I was like, okay, I cannot live with 14 animals on my own, so I'm going to have to make this, because at the time I was keeping a snake. He said he couldn't take care of his snake. His parents actually took his cat because he fucked off for a week to Waterloo to be with that chick, and his cat sat at the door crying for days, and it was heartbreaking, honestly. I can't believe that he had no intention of coming back either. He had no intention of coming back. I tried taking care of his axolotl, but like it was like too far gone, and it ended up dying a couple days after he left because he wasn't taking care of it. I contacted his parents, and I was like, I can't do this. Like, his cat's like sobbing at the door. Like, you need to come get her because I can't comfort her anymore. So they came and got her, and they're like, he's not getting her back. And I had custody of his snake, and he had basically just up and left all of his pets. So, which I thought was a really fucking irresponsible and a shitty thing to do. Like, that cat loves him. And he had no intention of coming back at all. So, we fast forward a little bit. He came back to the city. He was with his cat. He came and got his leopard gecko.
Well,
I gave his snake back.
I do want to say we actually did leave some things out with the whole Alexia situation.
Yeah. I said yeah, but I don't really want to. I'm mostly just trying to talk about him and his family and the way.
Yeah, but I mean, if you're gonna bring her up, we might as well talk about their stuff too.
I'll get there. Let me finish my train of thought.
All right.
So I gave him a snake back because I'm like, I personally really didn't want 3 snakes. I mean, I should have kept her because honestly he doesn't know how to really fucking take care of her. And I'm really worried for her fucking safety and well-being, honestly. But I couldn't take that many animals, like, by myself. So I gave him a snake back. He took his leopard gecko. He had his cat. His axolotl died. He started slowly moving out of the apartment and taking his stuff to his parents' house. And I was like, okay. So I told him and his parents after the incident that happened that I like spoke to, that I touched on earlier, that I didn't want him here. I didn't want him at my house without a parent there, like without like his mom or his dad, and I didn't want him just showing up out of nowhere. They didn't know why, but they just kind of accepted it, and they were like, okay, that's fine. I'm pretty sure they figured it was just because of all the fighting. Because every time he showed up, it was literally a screaming match, because he'd say something and I'd just fucking lose it. Because I was so done with everything. And, I would say something back, and then he'd start yelling at me, and then I'd start yelling at him, and it wasn't a very, safe situation to be in. So, over the course of, like, a week, he's bringing his stuff in and out, and I'm still working. I'm trying to work and pack up my life in a complete state of disarray and depression and destruction. I'm trying to make sure everything's all set up to leave. I'm trying to pack up 3 years of my life by myself. And him and his family keep coming in and packing up his shit and bless you, and packing up his shit and leaving. So he doesn't have to like live in the constant reminder of everything that's going on. I'm not saying he wasn't affected by it. Obviously he was, but like. So I wasn't packing very much. So the day I'm supposed to leave, him and his dad show up really early in the morning. Like his dad told me the night before, "Are you leaving tomorrow?" And I said yes. And he's like, "Okay, I was supposed to be leaving on a Saturday." And he's like, "Okay, we'll be by on Sunday to clean the apartment. Don't worry about anything. Like if there's a mess, I don't care. I'll clean it up. Just like worry about yourself, whatever." Seemed like he was being really nice. They show up the next morning at like 7 o'clock in the morning. Ow! Keep in mind, I got out of the hospital just a few days prior. I was in a lot of pain, and I was trying really hard to fucking pack up my shit and go. They show up at 7 o'clock in the morning, and they wake me up. And they came and they honestly, they took like 3 hours to grab like 3 tiny. And he asked me like about his air conditioner, and I had asked him, hey, because we bought it together technically. I was like, hey, you have an air conditioner at your parents' house. Is it okay if I take this? And he said yes. And I was like, okay. So I didn't actually need it. My house is central air. I didn't know that. I thought I would be moving into a house that had central air. So I gave it to my aunt. Because I'm like, you know what? This is my property. I'm going to have to get rid of it. I gave it to my aunt. And I was like, whatever. She needed it. I gave it to her. Cool. He comes in and he's like, where's my air conditioner? And I'm like, well, first off, you gave it to me. Second off, what? Like, you're freaking out over a $20 air conditioner that technically you bought with my money. But whatever.
Holy
Not
shit, air conditioners there cost $20?
No, we bought it from our landlord.
Oh. I'm about to say, it's like, that's fucking cheaper than here. Like $150, brand new. Yeah, no, I guess it had been, like, probably left in another apartment building, and we bought it from him for $20. Or 40 or something. Regardless, it wasn't that much money. And I was like, if you're that upset about it, I'll give you the frickin' $40. And he's like, okay. And I was like, okay, cool. And then, so then he's freaking out about a blow dryer. This little tiny, literally $10 blow dryer. He's freaking out about it. I legitimately didn't know where it was. It was probably in a box somewhere. I found it after I moved. Like, I have it. I could go get it. I don't really feel like it. It's this little fucking tiny Conair fucking $10 blow dryer. He lost it about 6. Yeah. Alright.
He sleeps with a hair dryer. In his bed. Under the covers. Like, It used to freak me out because I thought he was going to set the bed on fire.
Yeah, he actually could.
He could. I know he could. That's why I was so against it. So he starts, like, he gets really mad about it. And like, my sister, after, added insult to injury, and she was like, oh yeah, I found your blow dryer was broken, I threw it out. She lied, and she, like, started some of this, but, like, regardless, the way he acted was not okay. And we were given these prints for Christmas, and one of them was missing, and they're like, well, we're gonna take yours, and I was like, what the fuck ever, like, I'm never gonna fucking see it again, because, like, you're those kind of people. Like, his dad was like, well, we're gonna take yours. And after we broke up, his mom had kept making comments about taking my cat. My cat, Salem, to the room where I'd grab him. My cat, Salem, was given to me by his cousin, and it was my birthday present, and she kept making comments about wanting Salem. And those really got to me. Like, they were supposed to be jokes, but they really got to me. They were like, I'm like, no, you're not taking my cat. Like, he's my cat, he's my baby. So, whatever, all that shit happened in the morning. He left, his dad left. His dad looked at me and said, we will not be back today. And I said, okay. His mom messaged my sister, all concerned, because apparently my house was trashed, which it wasn't that bad. I just looked like I was packing.
It wasn't.
I hadn't packed anything. Apparently there was cat vomit and cat shit all over the fucking house, which there wasn't. My sister calls me. She's freaking out. She's like, show me your house right now. And I was like, okay. And I showed her, and she's like, what the fuck? And I'm like, what do you mean? And she's like, Lucas's mom just fucking messaged me saying, like, your apartment was trashed, you're not ready to do anything, like, you're just sitting around. And I'm like, I'm trying my best, I'm in so much fucking pain, I just got out of the hospital, like, I'm trying really fucking hard. So my sister, she's like, well, your house isn't that bad, it just looks like you need help. And I was like, well, no one's here who could help me. And she's like, I'm coming up there. So she comes up here, she comes up from Brantford to Hamilton, and she starts helping me pack. And, because I'm, like, in between throwing up blood at this point. Like, I'm in so much pain. So we have stuff stacked in front of the door because we're just trying to get everything organized and get everything ready to leave. We decide we're not leaving till the next day. All of a sudden, we hear a click, and remember, she had messaged Lucas telling him that, like, this is over a $10 blow dryer, keep that in mind, about how, like, she threw out the blow dryer was broken or something. I told him I didn't know where it was. I legitimately didn't. So we hear this, like, lock, and then we hear, like, the door, like, slam, and we're like, you need to wait a minute, there's stuff in front of the door. And so I push the stuff out. Lucas comes barging in, screaming with his mother, screaming at me. He's screaming in my face. He's calling me a liar. He goes over and starts unhooking my TV.
No, I'm gonna stay here.
He starts unhooking my TV and unhooking my PlayStation 3. And he gave me the PlayStation 3 because he bought a PlayStation 4 that I, again, helped pay for, but I didn't have proof I helped pay for it, so I didn't, like, argue with it. So he gave me the PlayStation 3 so I could still watch Netflix. So he starts unhooking the PlayStation 3. He takes my Batman print. He, like, I don't remember what else he took of mine, but he took something else of mine that, like, he gave me or something like that. And he's just screaming at me. He's like, how can I trust you? And I'm like, this is over a fucking not the air conditioner. This was over a blow dryer. And, like, stuff had gotten lost in the move. And, like, I still can't, there's still stuff I can't find. I can't find a piece of my dragon artwork. And, like, I still can't find some stuff of mine.
You can't even find your good pair of working headphones.
Yeah, I can't find my Sony headphones. Like, I'm missing so much shit from the move. Like, it happens when you move. Stuff goes missing. It's just how it happens. Like, little stuff goes missing all the fucking time. So, I was missing stuff too, and he was just, like, screaming at me, and he won't stop screaming, so I start yelling back. Because I either had two reactions. I will start crying, which came later, or I will scream back. And I went near him, and he started flinching. Like, when he was, like, freaking unhooking my PlayStation violently. I went near him and he like flinched. I'm like, why are you flinching? I'm not gonna fucking hit you. Like, I've never hit this kid. But
oh, you should have.
So I should have. I really should have, but I didn't want to. Like, my sister's standing there trying to be calm. And she's like, she told me after, she's like, I wanted to beat the shit out of him and then take down his mom. Because his mom was literally just standing there, letting him scream at me at the top of his lungs, letting him throw stuff around like a child. And so I go over there to get my games because I don't want him taking my PlayStation 3 games because they're mine. I bought them. And he flinches, and then he goes to look for his fidget spinner. Like, a fucking fidget spinner. A $3 black fidget spinner he's losing his shit over. He goes looking for a fidget spinner. He goes into my room. So I follow him, and he took my engagement ring, which I was okay with, and I'd asked him if he wanted the promise ring back, and he said he didn't. So I'm like, if you're taking fucking everything else, take this too, and he, didn't want to take it. For some fucking reason. I made him take the promise ring, and then at this point is when I started to break down. I'm shaking, I'm having a panic attack, I'm losing my mind, and I'm just sitting on the couch crying, trying to keep my mind together because he's just screaming, throwing stuff around my apartment. No one's stopping him, he's pushing the cats out of his way, and it's something his mom said something, and I looked at her and I'm like, why don't you fucking take my cat too? You want to take everything else from me. Why don't you fucking take him too? I know you want him so fucking badly. And she looks at Lucas and goes, pick up Salem and put him in the car. And I'm like, don't you fucking dare touch him. I didn't. It was supposed
Babe,
to
you're
be
up here. You need to take it down here.
Working on it. I'm coming back down. But all the comments, and I knew after that, I knew there was no joke to it. She wanted to take him away from me, and so I basically, because at this point she picked him up, and I was put him the fuck down, and she put him down and went, go to your mommy, as if nothing just ever fucking happened. So he takes a bunch of my shit and leaves with his mom. And at this point, I'm like, if they come back, I'm calling the fucking police. Because again, his mom looked at me and went, we won't be back today. And I said, I'm leaving tomorrow morning. At this point, that took 2 hours. So 3 hours in the morning, 2 hours. It took me a good 2 hours to calm down because I was so up here, someone just walked into what's supposed to be my safe place and turned it upside down beyond repair.
Turned it into a hellhole.
At some point, he had a panic attack where he started crying and hitting himself because I started screaming at him, and I'm like, you need to fucking just take your shit and you just need to fucking leave. You need to leave. And he started crying. Not he fucking just spent an hour and a half fucking screaming in my face and throwing shit around my apartment. So whatever, he gets all upset, and he's all apologetic, and he brings his shit, he brings all my stuff back, and I tell him to leave again. And then I left the next day. And, this is getting really long, so where I think I'm gonna, end it is just kind of the conclusion of everything. Yeah. So all that shit happened with him and his family. His dad had talked to me, and he's like, we're worried, because we had a, $1,300 to $3,000 phone bill, after interest. I don't know what it was at the last time I got a notification about it. I shut off notifications for it. It was, around $3,000. It started at $1,300. Interest. I used to own a phone that legally was in Melissa Blackburn's name, his mother. And so Dean Blackburn came and talked to me, and he was like, we're worried you're going to leave the city, we're not going to know where you are, and we're going to be stuck paying this phone bill. Now, at the time, I was perfectly fine with paying for it. I really was. I was like, okay, sure, just I'll give you my address when I go to leave. And you can contact me, you can text me about it, and we'll figure out, what it is. He's like, well, we're not going to make you pay all of it because we know that, you're the one that was paying the most of it. while you guys were together, and that you never went over your data, and we know that like more than half of it is his charges. And I was like, okay, good, I'm glad you know that. He's like, or you could give us the phone back, but we know that like you won't have a working phone if you do that. And I was like, yeah, that's true. So after all that shit, I made a conscious decision that I'm not paying this fucking phone bill. I'm not. There's no way I'm going to like dump like $2,000 or whatever that the amount of money they were going to ask me for back into these people who let their son literally throw that much of a hissy fit. So like his mom, like when his father talked to me, his mother was like fully prepared to take me to court. And I believe it was yesterday. So like on Friday, I took the phone because I got a new one. I got a new phone. On Friday, I took the phone, double wrapped it in a plastic bag, filled a box with glitter, stuck the phone in there, put more glitter on top because I hate glitter, made sure it was really snug and secure, wrote them a letter telling them that I don't want to ever talk to them again, telling them that their son abused me and that their son raped me and that he admitted to it and that I kept the screenshots, and basically that I'd wish them all the best, but I really don't care anymore. And I taped it up. My sister put it in their mailbox because she went to go visit Hamilton. I asked Lucas if he got it. He immediately blocked me. So I'm hoping his parents read the letter. I'm hoping they know now that their son is a rapist, that he mentally abuses people. I mean, they already know he financially abuses people. They told me over and over again that I shouldn't put up with such behavior. But all fucking well. I mean, it's too late now. And I sent the phone back. That's not in my name. They don't know where I am. I'm not about to say where I am. And if they try to take me to court, good fucking luck.
She has documented proof that she did send a phone. Video proof that she sent a phone. That was
Video
packaged.
Proof that it was packaged. It was not damaged. Like, I made sure no glitter got on it. My sister took pictures of them dropping it off at that address. And my name was never on the account. So, I mean, sure, I come out of this not having to pay for a phone bill I helped rack up, but I also come out of this having been abused and raped, so whatever.
Yeah, and not to mention, and this goes back to the whole Alexia situation, because I did want to interject that at the end. And basically, this is like, it involves both of us in my experience with them. Some of the more negative experiences, I can care less if he throws a fucking bitch fit. I can honestly care less if he makes condescending remarks. But he literally told Taro that, "Oh, I'm worried about you." You said, didn't you say something along the lines of like, "Why is that?"
Yeah.
And then he tried telling her that apparently I told his girlfriend that the only reason I'm with Taro is because I don't want to be lonely.
I mean, how not alone can you feel with your girlfriend living several hundred, like 1,000 miles away?
Ma'am.
Are y'all friends with John Martin?
No. Why?
He sent me a message today saying, "Hi, Mom, Austin's mommy," and then he said his mom passed away.
Yeah, his mom passed away from cancer.
Yeah, he did tell me that.
She had stage 4 lung cancer.
So I told him, "So I'm sorry to hear that."
But no, as far as us being friends with John, not entirely. Besides the point. But yeah, and then we just kind of fucked up first to do this. But we played him. So we made it, she made it out like me, and it was, whose idea was that? Okay, so it was her idea. So we were gonna fake like we broke up. And as soon as she told him that me and her broke up, or that she and I broke up, or however you want to say it, he wanted to come over and comfort her. Yeah, comfort.
Yeah. Probably more like unplug the Wi-Fi and pin me down and fucking rape me again. For the record, I'm not trying to make light of rape. I'm not. I'm not trying to like say it in like a happy-go-lucky manner. It's honestly one of the only ways I can cope with it, and I can talk about it without being a fucking mess.
But I'm gonna make a joke about this. Rape is not like fun and games. It's not something to joke about. But he told Taro that his crazy girlfriend raped him.
That she hit him, and this girl is this short, 95-pound girl. He is 6'2", minimum 170. So I don't know how this 95-pound girl raped him. I don't know how this 95-pound girl hit him. He didn't come back with any bruises. He didn't come back like anything like that. From my own personal experience of being raped, I didn't want to have sex again after. Honestly, like it's not a fun time. It fucks with your head. But the night he came back and told me all this shit, he unplugged. He told me like the next day or something like that. I don't remember when he told me, but he did tell me that apparently she him and that she hit him and stuff like that. But coming back from being with her, he unplugged the Wi-Fi and forced me to have sex with him. So I don't know. Like, do you get raped and then you immediately go do it to someone else? I don't think so.
No, that's not how it works at all.
I don't know. He used to be. He says he's not anymore, but I don't really believe him. He used to lie all the time to get him out of situations or to like just do stuff like that. Like, for example, back to the Sam thing. I asked him several times, "Are those from Sam?" Like, I'm not gonna be mad, but are those from Sam? No, because he thought he was gonna be in trouble. And honestly, at that point, I didn't even fucking care anymore. So, like. He is a pathological liar because he feels like it'll get him out of trouble.
He's also a compulsive liar.
Pathological compulsive.
Yeah.
But regardless, I'm done talking about him. Like, I think I've said all I've wanted to say on the situation and on the matter. Like, I'm very done to be happy with it. Or I'm very done to be happy with them. I'm very happy to be done with them in all senses of the words. I have his entire family blocked on Facebook. He blocked me on Instagram. I have him re-blocked on Instagram. Like, you can block someone after they block you. His phone number is blocked on my new phone. His email is blocked on my email. Like, I never want to talk to this kid again. But I don't want to sweep under the rug all the shit he's done, because if I knew he had done that shit to another girl, I may have went about things differently, which is why I'm talking about it, because she didn't. And that's not her fault that she didn't, because her boyfriend was his best friend and she didn't want to wreck the relationship. I understand why she didn't say anything, but I'm not going to sit here and not say anything. Am I going to get him chucked in jail? No. Because honestly, I don't want to have to go through the court system. Not again. Not again in my life. I don't want to have to. I really don't. So I would rather make it known of all the shit he's done and let the social justice system deal with him than the legal justice system.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to go back to his YouTube channel for a minute. He had a live stream. I don't know if it's still up. He had a live stream, and me and my friends decided to go troll him. And at this point in time...
Well, that was there as well.
I know. At this point in time, I had completely blocked out the fact that the night he came home from Waterloo happened. I didn't acknowledge it as being real because I didn't want to. I had dissociative disorder, and like I don't remember most of my childhood for that reason because I block it out. But we went over there. We were literally just trolling him. It's not like we were like telling him to go kill himself or anything like that. Like we were like, "Oh, you suck!" Like, oh, play Reaper, not Roadhog. Like, you suck at being a Roadhog. Like, legit trolling. And he throws this bitch fit, and he's like, you need to leave before I tell everyone what happens. And I was like, what are you talking about? Tell everyone what? Like, you got nothing. And he goes, that you cheated on Austin with me. And I went, no, I didn't. No, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about, because legitimately I didn't. Because I didn't want to fucking remember anything. So I didn't remember anything about that night, and I was like, no, I fucking didn't.
Well, you should tell them what my reaction was.
You were fucking kind of devastated.
Yeah,
We got you. But, like, I legitimately couldn't remember this thing happening because I, like, blocked it out of my head, and it wasn't after talking to my therapist extensively that she looked at me and went, you told me about that. And I'm like, what do you mean? That's the only reason I remembered is because my therapist told me about it. Because it happened a little bit before our therapy appointment, and I told her about it, and then I shut it the fuck out.
And when you tell me it was true, and I was, well, devastated all over again, I'm like, oh, fuck.
Well, because in my head, I'm like, yeah, that's exactly what it was. Like, he's right. Like, he's always been right, I'm always wrong. I cheated on you. And my therapist looks at me, like, I've had 3 therapists now look at me and go, it's rape. Like, that's what that is. That's what it is. It's rape. It was not consensual. It was premeditated. That's what it is.
Yeah.
But I'm done talking about this. This was a nice educational video about DeathsMarksMan, also known as Lucas Chester Carter Blackburn. His Instagram is LC Blackburn. Wait. What is it? It is LC Blackburn 1995. If you go on my Instagram, which is TerraStorm, you can find a picture of it.
What was his other nickname?
What do you mean?
The one nickname that he goes by, like for the past life.
I don't remember.
Well, we're not going to get into that because people think we're batshit crazy. Anyways, guys, if you enjoyed the video, leave a like down below. Don't forget to comment and subscribe. I will have her comment so you guys can go subscribe to her. This is Demented and Tarot signing out.